everyone, it's Nancy and hope you're all doing well. And let me say congratulations to Sherry. She won the green glue books, so very happy about that. And so today we're going to work on the new TN that I'm working with here. And we did the base in the very first video from I think last week. I'm using the kit called Where Spring Begins by Sweet Pea Curiosities, and I do have it listed below. Also, for some backing of these pages, I'm using this lace kit from Tailor Made Journals. It's called Set 2 on Etsy, and I have the link below for that as well. And I had purchased that like a long time ago, and I love it because it's a good base like for the back of tags and things like that and pages. So I just think that's a good something to have some kind of lace kit in your kit, so that can always be used practically in anything you make, right? So I wanted to show you some things that I decided to do on this. This is as far as we got here, and we put the two pieces together in part one. So this is going to be the cover, and then this was the addition. So right now that's the back, and here's the cover. Excuse me. I put an eyelet in there, and I'm going to use my pretty seam binding, which I don't seem to have. Where did I put it? I think it's here. This seam binding I'm going to use this because it does kind of pick up the bolder blues, if you can see here. So I'm going to use that. It picks it up really nice. I get this from my scrap. Oh God, I can't even. I get I haven't bought any for a while, but let me see the labels right on there. My Scrap Cabin Shop on Etsy, and this color, blue. I can't read. Blue Velvet. That's what it is. The color is called Blue Velvet from My Scrap Cabin Shop on Etsy, and I'll link them below too. I did buy a while ago, a long time ago. I bought a whole bunch of them, and I always seem to use them. They have such beautiful colors. They're all hand dyed. So anyway, all right, so this is as far as we got, and I just love this kit because it's so full already, that minimal decorating, and that's what's fun about using kits like this when they're so much, Marisa has a great way of collaging already that makes it so easy to use, right? Just like in the L'Amour journal. Okay, enough of that. So remember I told you I wasn't going to ink anything, but if I were to ink, I would use the Tim Holtz tea dye. And while I didn't ink any of this, when I start making pieces to go in here, I started inking only to bring them out from the backgrounds here. So I am using Tim Holtz tea dyed ink, and you'll see how that works. Okay, so let's just start here. This is our cover here, and I haven't decided about putting, I think I said I wasn't going to put any of the metal corners because this goes over it. So it protects it, so I don't believe this needs anything here. On the cover here, I use this page here I told you, and it's got the real cute bunny here, and it's, some of this kit kind of says Easter, and some of it just says spring, so it's whatever you're looking for, if you, and I felt this page, the way the scores went, that this page worked well, although you might decide on another page. It's up to you. So, yeah. So you can always, if you don't like this image, you can always put something else on it, okay? So we have this pocket here, and we have this space here, right? So for this space here, I decided there's a page in there that has 3 different scrolled like corner pieces. And so what I thought would look really pretty is if we, and you can see I inked them. What I thought I wanted to do was put one here like that and put one here, and then we could tuck something inside, right? And I love it. I think it's so pretty. So that's what I'm gonna do here. And I just printed it regular. I didn't shrink this down, I don't think. I just printed a regular page. There's no need to shrink it down. So I'm going to put this one up here, and I'm going to glue here and here. So I need my glue, right? Okay. So yeah, thanks for the birthday wishes again. I'm still getting some, and thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I told you I did have a really nice time with my family. So, and yeah, you know, they come and go, but I am very blessed. I feel good and happy to be doing what I like to do and things like that, right? So just noticed a little fuzzy thing here. Okay, so I'm going to, and I'm not going to go over the fold. I'm going to go up to where it folds here. I'm not going into the fold, so just be careful about that. So I'm going to line this up to the fold, but up to the top as well, right? We don't want to go over, but we're going to go up to it. So I'll hold this up in a second as soon as I make sure I have it where I need it to be. The parts. Okay, yep. Okay, so let me push that down here, and then let me lift it. You can see, I think you can see that I didn't go into the fold, so this is not in any way interfering with that. And then for this one, and then I wanted to say, you know, when you put the eyelets in, you know, they break open like this, and I don't like how that looks, but you know what, once we put the seam binding, we put the seam binding through here, and it stays there, it's going to cover this up, so I'm not worried about that at all. Okay, and then I'm going to put this one down here like so. So here and here. And I really love how it stands out from the background. I love this paper here. This is what we're going to do a zine with, this background paper here, because it's a, you know, it's not as busy, but it sure is pretty. It's probably, gosh, I have to say it's probably my favorite page to work on, this print here. I love it. All right. So now this one's, we're going to just put the same, just up to the crease, but not over it, and then line it up with the bottom, like that, and up to the crease, like that. Make sure. Okay, so there's that, and you can see that's not interfering in any way with our fold here. But isn't that pretty? It just looks so pretty. So I'm not going to tuck anything in there. We're going to make sure that glue stays down there. Okay, so then, now, you know, I just printed some of the pages and cut pieces off them, but what I love about them, for instance, this piece here, I cut off, you know, I cut whatever off to use something here. And then I had this piece, and I said, well, this is a perfect card, journal card to fit in here. Now, when I did print these extra pages, and I did print it on my cardstock, I did shrink it. I printed it not full page, I printed it 8 by 10 because it needs to go in here. This was printed full page for me. So I printed this here page 8 by 10. So I might have just trimmed a little bit off, and I mean, it's just gorgeous like this. I took some of that trim and just stitched it down on the bottom here. I don't even want to put one of those labels that came with it because it has this here, and I don't think there's anything else that needs to be done on this. I mean, you could embellish it, but to me, it's just gorgeous the way it is. Just added this for some texture and a pop of color. And I rounded, not rounded the corners, but I clipped my corners. And, oh, and then I printed the lace on the back. So that's perfect to write on for journaling. And that just gets tucked in there like that. So, and I love that, just how that looks. So that's what's going in that card. The only other thing, well, I'll show you, I did stitch some tags, and now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I'll stitch around this. I have a real pretty light blue thread. It's got like a satin finish to it, and I'll show you some. I did stitch around some of the little pictures and stuff. I don't know, I might go ahead and stitch around this whole thing with it, but I wanted to show you that's what I used for the tag that goes in here, and it fits in here perfectly like that, and I love that. Let's see, what else did I have? Did I have anything here? I think I have stuff everywhere here in front of me, so I'm looking to see what I thought would look nice in there, and I'm looking for it. Where did I put it? Oh yeah, okay. So this page here, this was part of it here. You can see I just cut some of it off because we're going to use this piece here with the little tab spring on it. I printed this page regular size, so you can see it's the same size as the base, my full size, and I cut this bunny part off here and trimmed around it here because we're going to add this on as a flip. But then I had this part, and I'm like, well, I'm not wasting it. So what I did was I cut the floral piece out of here, and then I cut the flowers and bloom out, and I glued it to the bottom here and made a journal card from here. And of course I printed the laces on the back, and that's a journal card right there, so we're not wasting any pieces. And I did stitch around, if you can see, with the blue thread. I stitched around it, and I thought I would tuck that in for now. I think we're safe to tuck something in under here. Just, be careful because it does have a lot of little ends here. So I'm just trying to get that in there like that. And that's a real pretty, hold on. Oh, come on. I cut my nails down. I can't do anything now. I'm looking for, what am I looking for? I'm trying to just lift this little piece here. There, I'll just do that. That's fine. Just want to make sure it goes in there really nice and clears the, and if you have a trouble, if it's a little stiff in there, just go in there lightly with your bone folder around the edges there, just to kind of loosen the paper. And I think we all know to do this. I'm not pushing, I'm just running it around there. So now it should go in fine. It gives it a little stretch on there, and now it fits in perfectly. And it just make sure it clears here, so it doesn't interfere with that, and it doesn't. Okay, and then we'll have something to tuck up in there too, so it'll be a nice tuck to place things. But I didn't want to waste that piece, so that's what I did. It's so easy, right? Okay, so we have that. I did stitch around that. I probably will stitch around this one. I guess I wasn't thinking about that. So that is so far the cover and that. If you want to do some decorating on here, I really don't think it needs it because I just love how this looks already. The only other thing you could do if you wanted to was mimic this piece here. Might be really cute to mimic. And I am actually going to use, there is a piece of that, one of the pieces on the page. There's 3 of these lace corner pieces, and I'm going to be using that inside the journal in the signature. I'm going to put this in the signature, but if you wanted to, you could mimic this, cut this part of this off, and this could actually, no, let me grab one of these cards. If you wanted to, you could actually make it a tuck here on the front to give it some more. You know, you could do that. Just line it up there, and you can make a tuck there too if you want to. But I'm going to use this on the inside, but it's an option, right? Okay, so we'll have something tucked in here, and I like this card here. It fits perfect. Just make sure you can trim it down if you need to make sure it goes in there like that. All right, so far I like it, right? Okay, so now we're going to go this way to this inside piece here, okay? And then you remember we have two pockets. We have two small pockets here like this, right? Okay. And oops, and then we have this. And remember I said I wasn't sure what I was going to do with this flap. Well, that's where this comes in. I did cut this part off here. I cut it along the, it was right here like this, just like this other one here. So I did that, okay? And so I cut off this part here and I trimmed this down because I want it to go on here. We're going to glue this on like so. And I'm going to just kind of put it out this way. I did print the lace on the back, and you can cut it where you want, but you have to make sure it's definitely going to clear, because this is where our signature is going to go in here. So I don't want it up to that. I want it at least a 1/4 inch away from that last score line over here. But if you kind of put it right there, and that's what we're going to do, I think that's really cute. All right, so I am going to just, I already inked it with the tea dye. I'm going to just run, I don't want to glue this whole thing down because, excuse me, very dry throat, sorry, so sorry. I want to glue this on here, but this is going to be a tuck for things. So all I want you to do is just put a thin line of glue on this one side here. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's dry. I should have had something to suck on here, but I do have my water, but it's just very dry. It's still goofy weather here in Illinois. You know, it's cooler, then it gets warm again, and I do take allergy medicine, but sometimes I think it's the allergies too. So now it's gonna line up with the bottom, but I am not going to put glue here. I'm going to put this, keeping in mind of my score, and I don't want to move it around so we can get a nice tuck spot there. So I'm going to put it probably about a scant 1/4 inch away from this fold here, like that. Just like that. And make sure it's uneven, and then it's lined up on the bottom. And so my fold, I know you can't see it, but my fold is right here. So it's probably a nice 1/4 inch away from the fold, from where the signature is going in, this fold here. And then definitely a scant 1/4 inch there, okay? And that's another flip on here. I love that. It's so cute. And I just rounded this corner here because, you know, we did round these here, and this one's rounded as well. So when we flip it over, oh, you know what? I knew it. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? Yes, I just wanted to put a little glue here and here, and I forgot that, but I can definitely get that in there right now. Just gently lift it up and put a little glue here like that. I'm sorry. And I'm just going to lift this up here and stick a little glue in here on this edge here. Not a problem. Okay, now let me just hold that down for a second. So it's easy to add it on if we didn't do it. So I'm just going to hold that there. So then now we have a nice tuck here, and you can even write on here. So I'm glad we figured out how to use this little piece on the end, because I didn't want to cut it off. I said we're going to figure something out. So now we have a tuck there. I'm going to let that dry before we get to that. Okay, so for these two pockets here, what I did, and I'm looking for them, I took these two little girls, I stitched around with my blue. This one, there's a page, a full page in the kit, and I don't know if I have, oh, let's see, this page here. This page here, I printed out on the cardstock, and what I did was I cut, I think it was this flower here, I cut around it and inked it, and I glued it on there, and it looks definitely, you know, it has the fabric texture, and I think it's so cute on there. So I did that and stitched around it, and I just think it's a really sweet little card. So that's going to go actually in this one. And then on this little girl, I love her look. I just put one of those little labels, and I took part of one of those scroll pieces that I had, one of them, and I just put, because this was kind of empty out here, so I was kind of balancing her. So I just cut a piece there, and I think that turned out super good. You know, very easy to decorate. Very minimal, but it's really cute. Just nipped my corners and made these little cards. So, I mean, I can't sew in front of the video because my sewing machine is in front of the windows back there. So, but just simply, and if you can't sew or stitch, take a pale blue marker and make your faux stitch line. So that'll work as well. And yeah, just look at the odds and pieces that you have, and just by adding a little piece of that scroll and this, and then this little flower, I think they're perfect, and they fit good in here, and I like her sticking out like that. You have plenty of room for them to stick out. You don't have to, you know, tuck them way in, and just make sure they go into your pockets. Cut them down if you need to, but she's good too. She's a little bigger, so, and I like her sticking out like that. So that's what I did for these pockets here. Simple, really easy, and nothing. I mean, I don't need to cover this up, right? Okay, so that's that pocket filled. Now here in the middle, right, because I know it's hard to see, right here, because remember our signature is going to go in there, but right here, I wanted to do something, and my friend Kathleen Maurer, hi Kathleen, she just made a video, and I will link her video below, on taking a regular envelope and turning it into a tuck for a journal card. So I played with it, and I made two of them. And I'm going to try to show you a little bit, but I'm going to link Kathleen's video below. It's just recent. And watch her. She has dyed her envelope. So I tried it two ways. So, and these are the envelopes that have to open like this. You know, a lot of our junk mail just have one flap, and this is all plain. These envelopes here you can get at the Dollar Tree, a box of them. So I happen to have a box of the smaller ones. And so the first one I wanted to try was, you take this apart, you'll see in the video, and I put Tim Holtz, what's it called, the color I used, it's a spray, and I used Uncharted Mariner for this blue, but I'm sure some of his other blues will work just as fine. So I have a plastic mat, and I just sprayed some of the Blue Mariner and then sprayed water over it. And then I had taken the envelope apart. It's real easy to take these apart. And I just started smushing the envelope all around. And then if I need more water, I did, and smushed it. This was obviously open, and that's how I got this. And I just love it. And then I stitched all around it with the blue. and then you glue the flaps in, because you don't, and make sure these edges are glued down really good, so when you take a tag in and out, it doesn't catch. And so I glued those down, I stitched all around it, and then it doesn't matter which way you fold it, because then you decorate this section here. And on a journal page, if you put this on a journal page, like let's just say this is a journal page here, you can put this on the page, and obviously you put something in here, but you can glue it also on the back 3 sides, and then you can use this as a tuck in here too. Or on the opposite page, you could do this, this, and that, and have it tuck in here. So it's like a double, but because we're using this on the inside here, I'm going to totally glue it down, because there will not be room to fill it with anything, okay? And I really like how this one turned out, and I'm going to use it in here because it really pops on this background. But I wanted to do another one. Kathleen learned it, or saw it from another lady, and you'll see it when you watch Kathleen's, but the other lady took the same envelope and used just glued digital paper on, which is what I did here. So here's the envelope, right? So you need one that has those 2 pieces like this, and you can take your bone folder, but you know what? These aren't really glued very well. It depends, I guess, but I just kind of took this and started gently pulling like that. You can spritz it a little, and then it'll come off, and then you just have to let it dry if you're going to glue stuff on it, but I didn't have time for that. I didn't have the patience to do that. I did it this way. Just took my time on this. See, and it just lifted right up. And then here, hopefully I do the same. As I'm telling you, it was easy, and I don't want to rip it. So just take your time. Use your bone folder or whatever you have. Something flat to kind of start pulling up on that edge. But it worked out fine for me. So there you go, see? So now you have it open, and that's how this was, okay? So that's exactly how it was here. So that's what I did. I opened this up and started dipping it in the ink to get it to this. And then what I did was I glued, after I inked and it dried, I glued these down. Oh, you know what? You can trim a little bit of this off. Because this folds over, so you can trim off like a 1/2 inch of these points. You don't need, I don't need these points on here. It's about 1/2 inch. I cut those 2 off, and because they'll lay down better. You won't have that point. And then when these go over it, you're not going to see anything. So that's what I did. So then I glued them down after it dried, and I trimmed the little points. And then what I did was, I only have the blue in my top thread. I had the just neutral in my bottom thread. So I stitched with the blue thread on top. I just stitched from here to here. But if you have bobbin and top thread that matches, then you could just go bzz all the way around, but I didn't. So I stitched there on top, stitched there on top with the blue, because that's what you're going to see. And then I turned it over, and then I stitched all around. Well, this will have been stitched already. So I just kind of stitched here, here, and here, 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 and here. Okay, you can see that here, right? I hope I'm not making it complicated, but it might have been. I don't know. So anyway, that's how that goes. So you'll see, I'm not going to like really go through this, but I printed this page out because I wanted you to see this. And oh, I love this. This is going to go on in the signature. So you don't have to do anything to cover the back. If you wanted it to be free floating in the journal, in any draw, I think these are fantastic to make ahead of time and easy. You can cover the back and then clip it in if you want to just add it as a free-flowing piece. But we're going to glue this on a page in the journal because I love this one. So I used this paper, And I had this, I backed it with that, so I just didn't want to waste the paper. So what I did was I glued this on to here, and then I cut it off, and then the other side, I did this side. And you just, because this has a design to it, I tried to make sure this kind of lined up this row here. So that's how I did the two flaps here. And then whatever I had left, which was some triangles, I covered the inside on both sides like that, where you can see that here. And then this flower was on, it's on one of the pages, and I had a piece of the page. What page was that on? Oh yeah, it was it was from this cover piece. There's the flower right there, and I had printed another one out of cardstock. So I cut that flower out, and what I did was I took just a scrap of this, and I just glued it, the blue flower onto here, and then just, I didn't even fussy cut. I just kind of jaggedy cut around this, giving it a border. And then what I did was, you know, after I glued the blue flower onto the paper and cut around it, I started curling this paper up like this. And then I inked the edges of the paper. And then once I covered this and stitched around it, I glued this right here in the middle. And it's so cute, don't you think? So that's the fast version of that. But if you think this is a fun idea, which I think is totally pretty and something different, yeah, follow the video and make a bunch of them. I like Kathleen's because she tea dyed her envelopes, and then just, they're tea dyed only, and I don't even think she stitched around them. I don't think so. And then she made little mini collages on here and made tags. Oh, I just love this idea so much. So we're saving this one for the inside of the signature. And so anyway, I want to put this one on here in the middle, okay? So let's see. It doesn't matter what you do, because this part's going to get covered up here. And I got to figure out where's my, oh yeah, here's my little pieces I got ready. So I used a scrap piece here, just kind of trim the edges here. I had a piece of, you know, the piece I cut off from the bunny here, I think. I cut a fussy cut a little piece of the flower and glued it on, just to do that. And then I took one of the mini envelopes that are on, there's like envelopes that come with the kit. I made that one mini envelope here, and I just took one of the one that's a spring and sunshine, and I'm just gonna tuck that in there like that. You could glue it in if you want, inked all the edges. So what we're gonna do is just put some glue here to hold that together. So it really doesn't matter what I do. I kind of like some of this edge, so I'm going to just put some glue here on this edge here, just to hold it closed like that, because you don't want to glue it to the back. You need that to be free, so you can tuck in something, okay? So then what I wanted to do was, I kind of like that, and I wanted to kind of do something like this, and then I was going to glue, I think I'm going to move this down like that, and then I was going to glue this on here, just to, or was I going to do it that way? No, oh, maybe this way. I think I was doing it that way. I want to, you know, when you lay it out, oh yeah, I think that's what I was going to do. Kind of not even, but kind of put that there, and then kind of put that there. So I can see that I can put glue pretty much on this whole piece, except right over here and there. So not here and here. So I'm going to glue this on. Okay, so not up there. I'm just going to put glue here, here, over here, a little bit here, and I think I'm good, like that. Yeah, I definitely want to make more of these. Oh, I think it's such a fun idea. Okay, so that's kind of going to go right here down here more or less. I think that's how I wanted it. And just want to make sure I didn't glue anything here, which I didn't. Okay, so I want to make sure. So yeah, just use the scraps that you're accumulating from making this already. And I mean, any piece of this, you cut anything, it's just going to be awesome. And that's why I love her kits so much. Now this one here, I'm going to glue up in here. So I can put glue on everything but right where my finger is. So I'm going to do that. Like that. I think that's what it's going to work here. Like that. And then let's glue that here, like so. So just by cutting a little piece of these flowers here and inking it and put it down, it just made the cutest little piece. And I'm going to leave this free in here. I kind of like it free, but you know, and you can even put some more labels in there if you wanted to. And just check to make sure you didn't glue it. Okay, so now, because it's going to go in the middle and we have a small area, I'm just totally gluing it down. Okay, so I am probably going to use my fabric tack for this. Oops, wrong bottle. Where's my empty one? See, yeah, I am gonna use everything in here. I know I hate to cover this part, but it has to be for this journal here. So I'm gonna totally glue this down, just waiting for my glue to come down here. This is almost empty, but not quite yet. So I'm gonna get some glue up there and along here. But yeah, it's really, I like the Kathleen's tea dyed envelopes too. Very, very pretty. And then they're neutral, you know, so you can just make a bunch of them and have them for the ready, you know, like whenever, and decorate the middle according to what you're making. I think that's a great idea. I'll definitely be making more of those. Okay, so I think we have enough on there. Just going to cover this up here. Okay, so now I'm going to carefully pick it up. Oh, that's what I didn't want to do. Did I get it on anything? Oh, okay, hold on. We're going to get that off. This is the eraser that takes that off. It's fine, as long as it's wet, still wet. You can touch it a little bit and it just rolls right off, so not a problem there. See, got it right. This is, I got that from the Dollar Tree too. That works, but you have to kind of hit it while it's still wet. And I think I'm good. Yep, I didn't get it anywhere else. A little bit maybe here. Oh my gosh, see, yeah, see, as careful as you are, it still happens. So I'm gonna lift it over here, and now I'm gonna pick it up. So I can see where my score lines are. I'm just going to center this the best I can so it's even in the middle here and kind of from top to bottom. And that's what I'm going to do. So we have a 1/4 inch away from the edges, and I think that looks good. And you can just check. See, that's where that is. So nice 1/4 inch away from there. And that's why I like the fabric tack, because it gives me a minute to move things around. So we have that. See, that's good. And then it's a 1/4 inch from the first fold there. So let me just get that pushed down, make sure it's all there. And yeah, everything is nice here. Okay, great. And if I need to go in to get the corners a little better, I can always put a little, go in with my nozzle and get it down there. But for now, I think I have it even. I'm just looking. Yep. And you know, the envelopes are not made perfectly either. So I love how that looks. So the tag that's going to go in here now is, once again, another piece of the cardstock that I had and that was cut down. I might have trimmed it, and I said, well, this is gorgeous here, but I need to do something with it. So, and this is a fun thing. I took this picture of this little girl. I love her, her blue eyes and everything. I kind of just ripped it out. This piece here with the blue writing was another piece that I had. I think it was, I don't know what page it was on, but you'll see. I don't know. I'm trying to look. I think I might have cut up all the papers already, but this was on the page, one of the pages, this blue writing piece. So I had ripped it. I had stitched all around. I glued this little piece on, stitched it all around, and then I glued one of the labels. Now remember, I printed up the labels full size, one page, and then I printed another page, 2 to a page, 5 by 7, so I could get the smaller labels. And this works for a smaller image. And what I thought I would do is, even though I love how this looks here, I wanted to glue this on here so I can still see this pretty piece here. I still see that little bird. And for here, I wanted to do something here. So I have one of these pieces again, and I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just put this up here for a little something something. So, and I don't know if I'm going to stitch around this again, because I did stitch around this little girl. And so I cut this down to make sure it would fit in here. Do that first, and it does. And see how that looks? Oh, so pretty. Wait till, okay, so that's our tag for there. Just using up the pieces. I'm, trying not to print any more than I need to, but, and this was printed on paper, so I love this piece. Like, I want to make more. But anyway, I'm going to glue this onto here right now, and then I think I will decide when it's done how it looks, if I want to stitch all around those 2 big tags that I made, or leave them as is. So maybe the big one in the front, but this one I might leave because it has the stitching around this piece here. So you can see I added that white piece with the blue lettering separate because it was laying there, and I'm like, ooh, I like that. So yeah, this is a super easy kit to work with, and it lends itself to do all this. I'm loving this. So, all right, so here I go again, and I'm not going to lift it over the journal. I am going to do it here on the side, and now I'm going to put it down, not to the bottom, because I still want to see that pretty blue down here, like this. Look how much, that was minimal, and it just adds so much. Inked it, stitched around it. I love how, hold on, my glue is like really leaking here now. When it gets to the end, that's what it does. So, okay, there we go. I'm just gonna put that here for now. All right, so now up here, I needed something. So I wanted to put some of this up here. And I don't want to cover the bunny, but I do like how this looks up here. It covers this part here, because I don't, I feel like I need to do that. It's just me, I guess. So I'm going to probably glue it to here. I'm just going to take a pencil and make a little pencil mark right about there, so I know that's where I'm going to put it. So I'm going to give it a cut, and I'm going to do it with my scissors here. And I'm going to look at my lines. I'm going to give it one good cut here, and it should be just fine. There. And you still have this too to play with. And now what I want to do is just ink the edges here. And I already did that part, didn't I? Let me go over it a little more, just very lightly. Okay, and now I'm going to put that aside, because we can use that for the zine we're going to make. And I'm totally gluing this one down, so I'll just use this for now. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to carefully put this here. And then I can line that up real good. And it just adds something, doesn't it? It just adds, I think, what I need up there. And since I do kind of clip my corners, I'm just going to re-clip this little piece I added on. Not a big deal. There we go. And let me make sure it's on right. And then I will just give that an ink there. And that's it. And I just think that looks really, really nice. Just the way it is. So I don't know if I'm going to stitch. I don't think I need to, but you never know. I could change my mind. So that just goes right in there. Just want to make sure that's on there. Yep. Okay. I love that. What a nice card that is. Journal card. And I'm just going to slip that in. And that should go right there. You can make it, and it has lots of wiggle room in there. And I just, now that is the middle there. And I love using the dyed because it really has a nice contrast. So far we got our little tags here for our pockets. We did this, which is so happy. I'm so happy with that. And then we'll do some more tuck-ins for here. I probably will stitch around this one here. Okay, so how we doing? Okay, 45 minutes. Okay, I want to do a couple more things in this video here. Okay, so we know our signature is going here, right? I want to put something on this side here. So I'm going to show you what I did for that. I have a few pieces here that I made with the odds and end pieces that I have. Okay, so for this bottom here, here's another piece of that blue writing, the same one from down there. I ripped it again, glued it to the bottom. This was on one of the pages. I don't know what number the page is, but you'll see it. This pretty blue. I don't know if it was on any of these. I don't think so, but you'll see it. It's on one of the collage pages. I cut that piece out to fit here, and I just cut around the piece, so it kind of made this little divot automatically. I cut this little piece of this bird image that was on one of the pages. I had a scrap and I cut that bird out. I stitched around the bird. I glued this blue piece to the bottom, as you can see, and then I stitched around, and then I thought, oh my gosh, I love it as a pocket. So it's gonna fit so nicely over here for a pocket. So that's what I made. And then I took this sweet little girl and just kind of inked around, and she's going to go in there. And then I took another scrap, which was part of this, and I liked it, and I stitched around that, and that was backed with that. So that's going to go in this pocket as well. And then we're going to put something up there. So I'm going to glue this on as a pocket. So I'm going to get it over the stitching here. Okay. That. Oops. So, I mean, if you have all those scraps, put them all in front of you and just see what pieces you can make with them, because it really is fun. You know, and you can save them for, you know, other kind of journals and things if the color works for you. Otherwise, so I'm not putting it straight to the bottom. I'm going to bring it up about 1/4 inch and just put it kind of in the middle between the scores on both sides here, like that, because remember our signature's here, so I'm going to put this right about here, like that. And I'm going to let that dry before we put anything in it. And then I wanted something up here. And on one of the pages, you'll see this bunny here. What I did was I reduced it to 5 by 7 so I could get it to fit here. And I cut around it and I left enough to make a little gusset here. And then I put one of the little labels there. I think I might, now that I could stitch around that. I should have done that before, but I wasn't thinking that. I don't have to, but you could. If you wanted to stitch around that, you can do it before you glue this on. You could, if you don't fold these back like this, you leave it open, you can definitely, you know, put it in your machine and stitch around that. I don't think I need to, but anyway, this one I wanted to make a pocket too, because I thought this was so cute. So I want to put that pocket there. And then these are one of the cards that came on the page with the 3 corner pieces. And I just cut it to make sure it fits in there, and that's going to fit in there just fine. You can put a couple things in there too. So I'm going to not stitch on that, I don't think. You know, you don't have to stitch everything because I didn't stitch here or here. So I think what I'm going to do is these are the pieces that are going in here. So I'm going to put her in here. I want her kind of to the right of the pocket, peeking out. And then this one I wanted to put in here like that. So you have 2 tags, 2 things in there, right? So this one is going to get glued down, kind of lined up with it. And I want to make sure that this card goes in and does not stick out from the top. So I'm just going to slide this to the bottom because I know that's where it's going to be glued. And I'm going to position this kind of in the middle as well. And as long as I know the top isn't extending out, yeah, I'm going to glue it right there. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to leave that tag right in there. Make sure I'm clearing my gussets here. So yeah, see, you know, when you look at your pages, you can probably cut pieces out and make the, you know, faux pockets. You know, Carol Laws does that. Hi, Carol. Kind of got that idea from her. I love when she makes the faux pockets and they blend right in. Okay, so there we go. And I am going to glue that on now. It's a different, you know, it really adds something to it. I'm just going to hold that, and I'm going to lift this up, and did I touch it? No. Yes. No. Okay, let's just put this on here. I'm going to put that right about here. You can still see that other little bunny peeking through like that. I think that is good right there. Making sure it's even. Let me just take a look here. Make sure I have it even. And I'll take my little tag out. Push that down like that. And what's nice is, you know, you cut around the bunny and his ears, and that's, you know, you can even put a tag in like that and you can really notice it, right? But that's kind of what I did there, and I really like how that looks. So you can put more than one tag in here for sure. And if your little edges peek out a little bit, you can always put a little more glue down there, and I'll make sure this is all nice and glued down again. We don't need to fuss with that right now. Okay, and then this one here goes right here, like that. So you have a nice layered type of pockets happening here. And I just, really, I think that's so pretty already. There's so much going on here, so much to look at, so much prettiness, right? Really like that. And minimal effort, really. So remember I said this is our, this is a pocket here, a tuck, and you can also write here. Well, I made some things to go in here. I made one of the envelopes. This one has the bunny on it, so we can put some things in there, but I wanted you to see that this envelope is gonna fit this way, right, this way. So you're gonna put an envelope in here. And we're gonna layer some things in here. And it fits with some room here, so that's perfect. I love that. And you can put any of the envelopes in. And then I love this picture, so I just kind of inked that, and I want her to go in there, just like that. I don't even want to add anything to it. This card here, I ripped another piece, and then I ripped a piece of these flowers and glued them on top, and then did some stitching, glued it to the bottom of this picture and stitched around it, you can see. So that's a cute little journal card, and I think it looks really pretty, these things stacked up like this. So we made use of this piece right here as a tuck. It also, by adding this, you have a journaling spot. And so then, get that scrap out of there. So then we have all that. So then this gets folded in. You have this cute, I think I was gonna put, you can put a label here to cover this. I don't think I wanna see jelly beans, so I don't know if I have a label here I can grab without making a mess of my, I think I did, I want to do a little one. Let me see if I have those tags here in my stash. But look, I mean, look at this. I cut this piece off. That's a beautiful piece. I love that piece. My little labels here. Okay, so the ones I reduced 5 by 7, I will pick one that I haven't used here to make sure I didn't duplicate. So what I would do is cut one of these out. Let's do Love, Laugh, Bloom. And you can see that these are not even, you know, so I'm going to kind of go with the lines of the rough lines of the tags, and definitely, which I love. Let me get that off of there and finish cutting that out. So that's why I reduce these, because they go perfect in little areas. So that's something, if you can do that, I would recommend that. And then kind of round out those corners. So that's how it looks. And then I would take my tea dye distress ink here. Let me get some on my, and just go around this like that. If you want to stitch, you can, but you know, that's up to you. I think I like it where some of the pieces are stitched and some are not, because I know that's how I'm feeling. Oh, my glue dried up already. See, that's why it's so dry. I mean, I have a humidifier, but it's just, I don't know. It's colder here today, so it's just cold. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to hopefully cover that up. And it does. Look at that. Works perfect. And just by adding that, I don't see jelly beans. So I didn't want to see that. So there, like that. Okay, so that's another thing you could do. I love how this looks, and that's our flip. We got a tuck, a writing spot here, and then this goes here. I'm not doing anything here because I love that. And then this goes here, so this is the back. We could, you know, add something back here if we want. I haven't thought about that yet. But then when you turn it over, here is the cover. And if you want to ink, you can, but I feel like we could still do some more, and we need to work on the signature here. You can put a label on here if you wanted. Over by the chick, you could put a label, or you can print another piece of this out and fussy cut these flowers and glue them on for dimension. But I am not going to do anything extra until we get that signature in, and because we'll put a few things in the signature, and that will, you know, bulk it up real nice. So that's what I have so far, and I think it's so pretty. I love it so much. There's so much to look at and pull out and going on. I love this for sure, and I just love how this works. And then we can always put something up in there too. So yeah, I will probably stitch this card here. But so yeah, that's kind of where I've gotten main pieces done. I love it. I hope you like it. Let me know. And I'm not going to add any tie yet to the very end. So hopefully that gives you an idea what you can do. And check out the links to Kathleen's video here. And it's so much fun. You will really want to make some of those. So yeah, I hope you like it so far. We did a lot today. We just have the signature, a few more extra pieces to make, put the tie on, and this is going to be a nice, pretty journal. Okay, friends, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.